I've had a few bad experiences with old people recently, and I just noticed that I started to judge people just because they were old, and I just assumed everyone was sexist, everyone was racist, there's no point in talking to anyone. The thing is, the old people aren't inherently sexist and racist. There is a correlation because they have lived through sexist times and they have lived through racist times, so they do kind of absorb it and it just becomes a part of them, just like it has become a part of all of us. Like, we all have these disgusting sexist and racist and horrible beliefs that just should not exist. But I guess I'm just making this video to celebrate old mentalities that I either want to or don't want to keep. Okay, 1. Old people laugh at anything. You don't put salt in your tabbouleh? No. An old mentality I don't like. You actually don't prepare your tabbouleh with salt? How are you gonna get married? Wait, you don't know how to cook? How are you gonna get married? Wait, you're studying medicine? How are you gonna get married? Wait, you look too beautiful, how are you gonna get married? Wait, you're too covered up, how are you gonna get married? Wait. But you know, to be fair, they do just want you to have a good, happy life, and they don't want you to regret anything, so it's like you could take that with a pinch of salt. Speaking of a pinch of salt, they have really high standards for food and comfort, which I admire and appreciate because they're right. Not old people, I guess it's just old mentality, but it's like they have set themselves the perfect amount of time that they want to be asleep. They have set themselves the type of food they like, the type of food that they enjoy. Okay, this one is specifically reserved for old people and not old mentalities. It happens to me a lot because apparently I hang out with old people now. They're telling me their stories of their youth and they're telling me like stuff that happened to them and like what they've been doing in their life and stuff. And then they start to get specific about the date when this happened. And then they're like, what was it? Oh yeah, it was like September 1995. Yeah, that was a great year. And I'm like, ooh. And they ask me, well, what's wrong, Maryam? I'm like, why are you cringing? And I'm like, I was born in that year. And then they start laughing. The next thing I appreciate is that they're less likely to put up with ridiculous logic. And they'll tell you when your logic is ridiculous, which I truly appreciate, and I tell my friends to do this too. Respect me enough to tell me, because I could just live the rest of my life being wrong. This last point, I guess, depends on the person, like what type of old mentality you have. You're either super aware and you understand when politicians and politics in general and the news are lying to you because you've lived through them lying to you your entire life, and you've learned how to see, okay, this means something entirely opposite of what they're trying to get the people to believe. So that's one that I really like, thank you, like, especially when people explain to you like how politics have worked and how things have changed and all that stuff, and then it's like you get a true, proper perspective, not from a history book. Like, this is over time how the system has aged. But then the other mentality is the one that is completely brainwashed by newspapers, by traditional media, by giant politicians that promise you things that just are not feasible. On that note, I think I'll leave it there. Happy September. Welcome back to Hogwarts if that's where you're going. I'm turning 20 on the 20th, so that's pretty exciting. It's the weirdest thing, because I swear when I was 12, I was like, wow, 20-year-olds, they figured everything out. I guess the takeaway from this is that no matter how old you are, you could still be wrong. And I guess the only real problem comes from when you just assume that you know everything. Because you don't. You can't.